I'd like to next up is Mike Izzard, Managing Director of Premier Choice Group.
Right, good morning everybody. Probably regarded as the odd one out here in more ways than one because the other three eminent people are insurers and I'm an intermediary. Okay. My topic, if you like, is quite simple. The way forward for cash plans and the role of the intermediary. And I think the role of the intermediary is very important, actually. Most cash plans that we do, the company paid for the employee, and they're offered it salary sacrifice for their dependents, and you'll find that a high proportion do take it. Not to be anti-selective, but they just think it's a very good offering, a very good value, and it jolly well is, actually. What innovations do we as intermediaries want to see? Well, I can only put my wish list on, but more modular plans in a way. They do several plans with different bits and pieces, but unlike, in my opinion, unlike some of the PMI plans that are now becoming totally modular, a higher dental benefit option would be very, very useful. The future, how do we grow the market? Difficult. It's a difficult time. It's our opportunity to go in there and talk about whole of market, particularly cash plans, because that's what we're talking about today. So there's chances for us to get in there and make a sale. Value worksite marketing. I think that the direct arms of these insurers do a wonderful job, and I think we should emulate a little bit of what they do. How do we grow the market? Yes, considering the implied employer responsibilities. Important. An employer should look after the welfare of their employees, and also the Disability Discrimination Act says you have to look after people as well. There is certainly implied legislation that is helping us. So how do we think the cash plan providers are doing? So if you don't get this joke, you're probably too young. As Mr. Grace would say, or young Mr. Grace would say, I personally think they're doing very well, and long may it continue. And I think as intermediaries we should fully support our cash plan providers, unless anyone has any pressing matters.
Personally, I'm very concerned about PMI inflation. I think if that's not got a grip on soon, there's big problems with PMI. Could you say a bit more about this interaction? Because it's not quite, if PMI gets its act together, it pulls away one of the steps you're talking about with the pre-funding.
Well, medical inflation will always be with us, and it will always go up exponentially. Even though well, it has to. It's driven not by the insurers. It's driven by the cost of clinical treatments. The new treatments can come along, cancer drugs. It can't defy logic or gravity. It's going to go up. But how much it goes up, or how much? The big issue I've got is why is medical inflation different from headline inflation?
I'd like to start now by sort of putting questions out to the floor. Is there anyone would have a question for the panel members?
Anyone can pick this one up. Management information. One of the things that's really important in the PMI world is management information. And we've all focused on selling more stuff, but renewing it requires management information. And as a corollary of that, if we can have really decent, sophisticated management information, as we do out of the PMI, some of the PMI providers, why aren't we knocking on the doors of the GIP, income protection providers? Because if the NHS is going slower, shall we say, we're going to have the advent of more claims, because people are going to be treated later, so we're going to have a claim hitting. And I think as the cash plan providers are working alongside the PMI providers, there's also a market there for the GIP providers, but it's all going to come back to management information.
You'll go on that one.
Yeah, sure. I think as cash plan providers, we probably need to get a little bit better at providing management information, but we do provide it. It's all, very stable pricing across Westfield and all our competitors. So it is a community-rated scheme, but I know companies will want to know how employees are engaging with the plans. And we're quite happy to share the information on the volume of claims and how employees are engaging with the plans. I think what we need to do a little bit better is the cash plan market is growing and developing. We're offering all kinds of new services beyond the traditional optical, dental and physiotherapy.
Yeah, just to reiterate, Paul, there, I mean, we at Simply Health absolutely do share the management information there. We don't do it as standard because obviously there's a hell of a lot of clients there would be sharing it, but where a client needs it, and it's all about actually demonstrating where they're getting the value out of the product. It's understanding, okay, we've got this in there, but what are the benefits that are being used? And one of the tools that we've got in doing that is talking to intermediaries saying, right, okay, the last 12 months, 50% has been made up of this benefit, 60 that, and if it's a significant size, is that product right for that client? Is there an opportunity to create something a little bit different? And again, it's having that, and from your perspective as the intermediary, it's about truly taking a consultancy approach, having a sensible conversation about what's real to them and what's working, because if they're not getting that information, you're not having that contract, it's no surprise that it will probably fall away.
Very similar to Westfield, we do offer it where it's requested, and we've just invested quite a lot of money into a new CRM system that will enable better. It's still being implemented and won't be implemented fully for a few more months, but that will enable much better MI because we are listening to the market and we are aware that it's required. So it's something that we're already aware of and are working towards.